Today, I'm gonna try and make In-N-Out.
Can I make it like the pros? I've only tried twice, so this is a short intro.
Okay, so yesterday I tried the In-N-Out recipe from Joshua Weissman over on his YouTube channel. He created this challenge where he tries to make the same food that we are used to, but better. Let's go through the whole recipe and what I made to get this result.
Okay, first you add half a cup of milk, some yeast, mix that up, add your flour, your salt, your sugar, and mix that up, and realize that he uses a hand mixer. Panic a bit and make your other flour topping. Heat up this weird mixture that he used over medium heat until it's sort of thick. Dump that into your flour and realize it's exactly what you needed to have enough to actually make buns. Add 1 egg, add some butter, soften, mix that all up, and because you don't have a mixer, just kind of fold it over repeatedly and really get in there with your hands and muscles. Now, if it's sticking to your hands a whole bunch, like it was with me, just add a little bit of flour. Eventually, it should start looking pretty smooth and it will stop sticking to your hands. Put a little bit of oil in a bowl, put the flour in a bowl, and just let it rise for an hour or an hour and a half. Now, let's start our sauce. Cut up 2 big onions. I only do 1 here, and that was a mistake. I'm also very bad at dicing. I like to use this trick where I cut about half of the onion in a grid pattern, and then I turn it on its side and cut it out to dice it faster. It doesn't work very well, and I don't recommend it, but I like to do it anyway. Throw that into a bowl, and then dice up the rest of your onion. And don't forget to do 2. The reason is because this is going to shrink as you cook it, and you'll end up with a lot less than you think. Heat up about 2 tablespoons of butter in a pan, and throw in your onions. This is going to take about a half an hour to cook. So we're going to work on a few other things while our bread rises. Don't forget to add sugar to your onions. I just grabbed a handful and some salt. If it starts getting dry, he says you can add water or you can add more butter like I did. Like I said, it's going to take about half an hour, but eventually those onions are going to start looking really, really good. Now let's make the rest of our sauce. Take 3/4 of a cup of mayonnaise, 1/2 of a cup of ketchup, 1/3 of a cup of chives. Resist the urge to make the same Worcestershire sauce joke that Joshua made in his video, and add 3 tablespoons of that to your mix. Add some salt, and then mix it all up. Once it's starting to look like In-N-Out sauce, take out 2 dill pickles, take 1 for yourself and eat it. Dice it all up into healthy pieces, add that to your mix, and then mix it all up again. You can just throw that in the fridge. When your onions are almost done, take it out, add those gorgeous caramelized onions, and then give it another mix. Boot up Netflix and watch a few episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation while you wait for your bread to finish. In the meantime, you can get a baking sheet lined with parchment paper and start cutting your vegetables for the burgers later. Thanks Safeway for sending me this incredibly tiny tomato. What even is this? Anyway, cut it up into some healthy tomato slices and cut your onion slices later if you want onions on your burger. I highly recommend it because they turned out delicious. Go to the store and get a real tomato, screw you Safeway, and realize you forgot to get lettuce. So pick that up too. Once your dough is finally done, punch it to degas it, put it on a lightly floured surface, and then get to work. Cut it into 6 even-sized balls and roll them up the best you can. Be sure it's in a good-sized ball because you want these to be complete. They are the bomb, by the way. Here's one from a day later that I ate seconds after recording this. Once you've made your dough balls, cover it with a towel and let it rise for about 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, take 1 egg, add some water to it for some reason. Apparently it's called egg wash, I've never heard of it. Mix that up, and then throw it on your buns. It is worth it. Throw your buns in the oven for 15 to 17 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. I did make a mistake here. My rack is on the lower rack, and it should be on the middle rack for this part. Enjoy this time lapse of the buns rising. Seriously, these buns are delicious, and it was really cool to watch them rise in the oven like this. Oh, I can't wait to eat them again. Take them out, burn the Jeepers Creepers out of your hand, and then straighten them up for the video. Or don't burn your hand, you do you. Anyway, take a stick of butter and rub that all over the top. Cry to your wife about your burnt hand, and then take out your hamburger meat. Throw that hamburger meat on a plate, and then make 6 evenly sized balls of meat. Nothing else special about the meat, you just make 6 balls of hamburger meat. Try and make them about the same size. Then put them next to the hamburger buns, because you think it looks cool. Now, get your pan, I'm using a cast iron here that is way too hot, and I buttered it with a stick of butter. I just like to grab the stick of butter and shove it directly on stuff because YOLO, you only live once. Still, this was way too hot and I had to turn the heat down. Put your hamburger patties on the grill and you will quickly realize why in his video he has tinfoil on his spatula. It's because the meat gets stuck in the spatula when you press it. Put the meat in the pan and press it down. Make sure you have tinfoil on your spatula, otherwise it will get stuck in the spokes. Put some salt and pepper on them. Throw in 2 lightly crushed cloves of garlic. I only had grated thyme, but it didn't seem to affect the recipe. It still tasted delicious. Throw some grated thyme in there and then too much butter and lather that baby with that mixture. Flip the burgers and keep lathering them with that delicious, delicious sauce. Put a piece of cheddar on one, Munster or Jack on the other. Both were delicious. And then let that cheese melt. Cut your now cooled buns and toast them on a pan. This pan is not hot enough for toasting. Put your buns on there and try and get them a golden brown. Now, as your meat's cooking, cook your onions on the grill for a few minutes. It shouldn't take long at all. Realize you kind of screwed up the first burger, make a better one, and then start plating it. Bun down sauce, tomato with a little bit of salt, 2 pieces of lettuce, the meat, and the topper. This was so tall I couldn't even fit it in the shot. I had to pull back, and that's actually a criticism. I think this looks delicious and it's awesome to see on camera, but it's not editable. You can see it falls over here in about 2 seconds. So what I would suggest instead is just taking one of those burger patties and putting the 2 different pieces of cheese on it. Regardless, here it is anyway. This was a big sloppy mess. So do it again. Sauce, tomato, a little bit of salt, lettuce, meat, burger top, and then put a chopstick or something in there to hold it all together if you really want that double-decker burger. The results? It was so good. I can't even express.
Okay, so what is my reaction after eating the hamburger? Is this recipe as good as he says it is? It is absolutely phenomenal. Here's some blurry footage of me actually eating the burger for proof that I didn't really want to use because I got food all over my face.
Wow.
My biggest criticism is it's too tall. So I would highly recommend doing 1 patty with 2 slices of cheese on it. Make that patty as thick as you want, and his buns get pretty large also. Just keep that in mind when you're constructing the burger. My burgers were like falling over and everything. Awesome for presentation purposes, not so good for actually eating. You can't even fit it in your mouth, but oh my goodness, my wife and I woke up this morning and we were still dreaming about these hamburgers. Excellent recipe if you have the time. It did take like 3 or 4 hours. What do you guys think? Was I successful? Are you happy with everything that I did, or did you have some feedback? Let me know in the comments below. That's it for this one. Next time we're gonna try pot stickers or bread. All right, see you then. Bye.